Let's point and laugh as the snake continues to eat its own tail. Isn't it just tragic when a group that it was not just okay to hate on in the past, but it was actually encouraged to hate on them, suddenly becomes a protected group, and now all the horrible shit you said about them years ago comes back to cancel you? Oh, how absolutely tragic this is. San Francisco school board member refuses to resign. Oh, she'll be forced out. For her current year -5 tweets calling Asian Americans house gamer words who embrace white supremacist thinking to get ahead. Yeah. Back in the day, Asians were basically considered white, and it was perfectly fine to hate on them like this. But now that the NPCs are trying to use Asians in their oppression Olympics again, oh look, Asians are now an oppressed, protected minority group again. What did you say about them? Uh-oh. Force them to live by their own standards, and maybe eventually they won't hold everyone else to such bullshit standards. The entire senior staff of the San Francisco schools has denounced a black school board member's twats that claimed Asian Americans use white supremacist thinking to get ahead. In her twats, she also referred to Asian Americans as house gamer words. On Sunday, 19 top administrators at the district's central office condemned the current year -5 tweets from the board's vice president, Allison Collins, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. I don't know, man, but this looks like another Rachel Dolezal to me. Black? Really? All right. Whatever you say. I guess you can identify as whatever you want. The city's top elected officials, including its mayor and nearly all city supervisors and the area's state legislators, called for Collins to resign, but she hasn't. All right. What are you gonna do about it now? Do you have the balls to actually fire her? If the answer is no, why would she resign? If I was in a position like this, where I knew I was unfireable and everyone was trying to get me to resign, I'd be like, fuck no. I'm going to keep drawing this damn paycheck. What are you going to do about it, huh? I know you don't got the balls to fire me. The school officials said the twats perpetuate gross and harmful stereotypes and leave no room for nuance or potential misunderstanding. Their statement addressed Collins' twats that she shared on December 4th, current year -5. So let's go through some of them. Remember, this is the kind, loving, tolerant side. Hey, twatter, does anyone know any news stories highlighting hate speech or bullying of Asian students? Please send them my way. I'm looking to combat anti-black racism in the Asian community at my daughter's mostly Asian school. Many Asian S's and T's, or students and teachers, I guess, I know engage in critical don't engage in critical race convos unless they see how they are impacted by white supremacy. I grew up in mostly Asian American schools and know this experience all too well. Many Asian Americans believe they benefit from the model minority BS. In fact, many Asian Americans, teachers, students, and parents actively promote these myths. Oh, like your critical race theory bullshit? You want to talk about promoting myths? Yeah, they use white supremacist thinking to assimilate and get ahead. So what's stopping you from doing it? If you know that that's the key to success, why don't you? Oh, right. You don't want to actually succeed. You want to be a professional victim. I see. Talk to many parents and you will hear praise of the tiger moms and disparagement of black and brown culture. I even see it in my Facebook timeline with former high school peers. Their teachers are full of white and Asian people. No recognition, burn, loot, murder exists. 2 years ago, my mixed-race black daughter heard boys teasing a Latino about Trump Mexicans and the KKK. The boys were Asian American. They all have a story like this, but they can never provide the receipts. She spoke up when none of the other staff did. The after-school counselor was Asian. My best friend from school says she feels alone in the Chinese community. She feels ostracized when she speaks up against anti-black hate. How much sympathy do you think this woman would have about white people in a predominantly black community getting ostracized for speaking up against anti-white hatred? Probably none, right? So cry me a fucking river is what I'm saying. Where are the vocal Asians speaking up against Trump? Don't Asian Americans know they are on his list as well? Yeah, Asian Americans, how are you feeling right now? Every time another instance of anti-Asian hatred happens, it's always a white supremacist that was the perpetrator, isn't it? Interesting that. Do they think they won't be deported, profiled, and beaten? Being a house gamer word is still being a gamer word. You're still considered the help. No, whatever. Let's just let this play out. Let's just let this play out. I mean, I keep saying, just segregate yourselves from these lunatics. Don't interact with them. Don't say anything to them. Don't debate them. Just shut them out. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to talk at you. And if you do anything more than listen and believe, they will cancel you. So don't interact with them. You have no obligation to listen to them in your ear. Shut them out. The sooner you do that, the sooner they turn on each other like they're doing here. Because now that Asians are a protected group again, since they need something to virtue signal about, not the Asians, the government and the corporations and the media. Yeah, they need something else to virtue signal about, so now Asians are protected. So now all these SJWs who went out attacking Asians when it was cool to do so, man, remember, dig these up if you remember seeing them and bring it to their groups of friends, bring it to their employers. Make sure everyone knows what garbage people they are. In the thread, Collins said she was seeking to combat anti-black racism in the Asian community and at her daughter's mostly Asian American school. What must it be like to be in the Asian community and having these lunatics force their way in and then demand you change to suit them? Oh, I know exactly what the feeling's like. I mean, imagine any nerdy hobby in the past 20 years. Collins has not resigned from her position and will not return calls from the San Francisco Chronicle on Sunday. Instead, she directed people to an op-ed she wrote that was published on Medium. Oh, of course, Medium publishes anything. In which she claimed her past statements were taken out of context. Okay, you got the entire thread start to finish right here. What context is missing? A number of twats and social media posts I made in Curtia-5 have recently been highlighted. They've been taken out of context, both of that specific moment and the nuance of the conversation that took place. Oh, of course. And how much sympathy would you have for someone using that excuse? Oh, right. None. And that's exactly as much as we're going to give you. Hold people to their own standards. Whatever standards they hold you to, you hold them to that. A fellow board member, Jenny Lamb, called the post a non-apology. Oh, of course, because it wasn't. The controversy comes as San Francisco's school board has been slammed recently for voting to rename 44 of the city's schools that were alleged to have insensitive names. A person in charge of the renaming effort admitted he researched the topic on Wikipedia and didn't consult historians. This answers so many questions. Everyone in that whole movement is like this. They only operate on they operate 100% on emotion. Fuck the actual facts. In January, the board voted 6-1 to strip the schools of their current monikers because they honor racist figures from American history. Schools named after politicians, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln, are now set to be rebranded in the coming months. Hell, leave these shitholes. Let them become Detroit 2.0. Meanwhile, a gay white father of a biracial child was denied a spot on the San Francisco Board of Indoctrination's Volunteer Parent Committee in February because his race doesn't bring enough diversity to the group. Man, guys, just let it go. These old legacy industries, companies, organizations, let them go. They're a lost cause. Make your own. Gatekeep the bad actors out. You're going to replace them real soon. And the district of 52,000 students has been in a bitter dispute with unions over reopening the schools, which have been closed since the height of the government lockdowns. Some schools will open April 12th, but it's not clear how many. So let me go over this again. You want to know how you can solve this dispute immediately? Stop paying these fucking teachers if they don't come into work. Schools may have been closed, but they keep drawing a paycheck. You want to know how you get them back into the school doing their fucking job? Don't pay them unless they do their job. It's not rocket surgery here. Collins, the school board's vice president, said in the Medium Post that as a black woman, a mother, an indoctrinator, and a fierce advocate of equity in our schools, I utilize my social media platforms to speak out on race and racism. No. You utilize them to be a racist. Even when these conversations are difficult in our very divided society. Well, you're about to witness some consequence culture then. That's what it's looking like to me. I mean, because cancel culture doesn't exist, right? It's just consequences. So I look forward to seeing how you react. In the Post, Collins noted that then President Orange Man had just won an election when she made the remarks on Twitter. All right. So it's okay to be racist against Asians because Trump won the election? Oh, whatever. Sounds like you're just making an excuse for your blatant racism to me. Meanwhile, one of my daughters has recently experienced an incident in her school in which her Asian American peers were taunting her Latinx classmate about sending kids back to Mexico and the KKK. Yeah, I'll take shit that never happened for 1,000, Alex. It was a time of processing of fear among many communities of the unknown of how the next 4 years would unfold, Collins wrote. So those 4 years actually saw those communities improve more than they ever had in the past. And now all that progress is gone. Remember this next time. But whether my twats are being taken out of context or not, only one thing matters right now, and that is the pain our Asian American brothers and sisters and siblings are experiencing. Words have meaning and impact. Words have meaning and impact, huh? Maybe you should have thought about that before you revealed your racism against them. We're not going to let you just pretend like you're not a raging racist now. You've been outed. Trump showed us that clearly with his showing of hate and pitting communities of color against each other for political gain. Wow, I'll take projection for 1,000, Alex. I acknowledge that right now, in this moment, my words taken out of context can be causing more pain for those who are already suffering. For the pain my words may have caused, I'm sorry, and I apologize unreservedly. You can prove how serious you are by fucking off and resigning your position. If you don't resign, you're not really sorry. Sorry, man, we're going to hold you to the same standards you hold everyone else to. You need to resign and let some Asian have your position. What matters more than anything is showing up and supporting Asian American communities and victims of hate crimes. Unless we're the ones committing the hate crimes against them, then just pretend it's white supremacists. Let me be clear. I stand with the Asian American community against acts of violence. I have spoken with leaders in the community over the last 24 hours, and I acknowledge the pain they are feeling. Oh, so you basically went there to kiss their asses, I hope? Oh, no, of course not. You got too much pride for that, don't you? Collins twats resurfaced just days after 8 people, mostly Asian whammons, were Minecrafted in Atlanta, which, by the way, the FBI already said that wasn't a racially motivated attack, but don't let that stop the media from pushing this fake news narrative. And thanks to the media, the Minecraftings have stoked fears among those in the Asian American Pacific Islander community, which has reported a spike in hate crimes since March of current year -1, when Orange Man began referring to COVID-19 as the China virus. Well, where did it originate? Exactly. And why are there fears of increasing hate crimes against a specific community? Totally not because the media keeps stoking hatred for clicks, is it? This particular Minecrafting, they've already said it had nothing to do with more racism or a hate crime or anything like that. But that hasn't stopped the media from running with it. And fucking even Kamala Harris's bitch has been out perpetuating this lie. The politicians, the media, the fucking corpos on Twitter, all perpetuating this fucking lie. And yet somehow we're the bad guys that keep stirring up hatred. Yeah, makes perfect sense. In this article, though, they at least point that out. Long, a 21-year-old Atlanta area resident who is white, told police that sexual frustration led him to commit the violence. Cherokee County Sheriff's Office Captain Jay Baker, who told the media in a press conference that a sexual addiction may have fueled the crime, and said Long had a really bad day, has since come under criticism from political leaders and civil rights advocates for making insensitive comments, noting that such remarks only help fuel stigmas about race, gender, and sex work. All right. You see what I mean? When reality gets in the way of their ideology and their feelings, now they're chastising the guy who just told them the truth for being insensitive. No, fuck you. Anyone who keeps perpetuating this fucking lie and breeding more hatred, you are the bad guy. You are the villain. You are the fucking problem. The sheriff later acknowledged the remarks had sparked anger, but said Baker never intended to offend anyone. Baker is no longer serving as the spokesman for the case. Yeah, that is not a job that I would want to have in current year, unless I know my boss was based. Now, I wouldn't mind being a spokesman for anyone or anything as long as I was allowed to tell these fucking fake news, like lying hate mongers to go fuck themselves. Oh, that would be nice. The incidence of so-called hate crimes against Asian Americans rose by 149% in current year -1 in 16 major cities compared with current year -2, according to the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism. Now, here's where I'm going to have to throw another wrench into this lie. Well, maybe it's not a lie. Maybe so Andy No, a gay Asian journalist, by the way, he shared the statistics that showed which race is responsible for the vast majority of violent hate crimes against Asians in America. If I were to share this data here, I'd be canceled immediately. I'll let you guys speculate on that if you don't want to go look it up yourself. Yeah, President Kamala Harris's bitch and President Kamala Harris herself visited Atlanta on Friday to offer support to Asian Americans and meet with leaders of their community. Yup, these fucking politicians are complicit in spreading this lie. But it's all white supremacists, though. White supremacists are by far the biggest threat in this fucking country, aren't they? Yeah, Harris's bitch on Sunday also highlighted the need to prevent gender-based violence and keep women safe. Why not? I keep saying, man, let's just out crazy them. Let's just go all the fucking way. Why not? Let's completely destroy what little remains of the relationships between men and women. I don't fucking care. It's not going to be my problem. If this is the only way people are going to learn, see what happens. In the past few weeks, we've seen too many examples of horrific and brutal assaults on women, including the tragic Minecraftings in Georgia. Never mind that, was it like 70 to 80% of victims of these like violent crimes are men? Yeah, fuck them, I guess. Am I right? And we've seen the broader damage that living under the daily specter of gender-based violence does to women everywhere. It hurts all of us, and we must do more to create societies where women are able to go about their lives free from violence, he said in a statement. You know what would happen? I got a solution. Islam. Let's implement Sharia law then. Islam is right about women. The legal department previously said it will be stepping up investigations into hate crimes against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Yeah, that's going to quietly go away once they start realizing who the biggest perpetrators are. Once they realize it's not the alt-right Nazis, this is just going to just be swept under the rug.
Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.